boys and girls, we're recording with the GoPro. You can probably see me, the top of my head in there. So I figured, I'm just leaving my hotel, driving back to Cambridge. I figured this would be a good test, because that's what I use my other two GoPros mostly for, and it'll be interesting to see how it records the audio when driving. But of course this is a car, right? So this is okay, sport mode. Okay, we got the red flag. But one cool thing right away I like is that, you know, quite often on the GoPro I have no idea if it's recording or not, and I have to take it off. And one of them lost, you know, I'm using those session 5, right? And one of them over time, for some reason, pretty much lost that audio signal. You know, like the other one is pretty loud. I pushed the record button, the same one button method, right? So each, like those GoPros, they only have 2 buttons, right? One is basically to work with the menu, and the other one is record, and then you select inside the menu, right? And so it's supposed to beep to show you recording, but I do street photography sometimes with that one, right? And so I disabled the blinking light on the front, and sometimes I look at myself with this with that session on my head. I look in the mirror, there's no light, and I could not hear the beep in the, you know, inside that loud semi truck. But you see, and this one, what's cool is that the screen, it has 2 displays, right? And the smaller screen is on the front, and even if it doesn't beep, which it did, of course, but even if it stops beeping, I can look at the tiny display and I can see the seconds counting, right? Very easy to see that it's recording. So that's one quick big advantage. Another advantage I see of this Hero 5 is that you don't need a second cage. You know, with Session 5 I always have to you have to insert that, you know, cube looking Session 5 into a cage, and only then you can mount it onto something, right? Like this one has these little legs at the bottom. I'll show you a bit later. Some people on the YouTube, I watched a couple of reviews, and one guy says, well, these legs, yeah, they're nice, but they don't look too sturdy. So we'll see how that works. But for me, you know, I don't toss it around too much. I just like the convenience. So no second cage, built-in connection, okay? But when I opened the package and I was looking for the, oh, and of course the other big advantage now is that they introduced the, I think it was on the previous ones, they introduced the replaceable battery, right? It was before, like on my Session, I cannot change the battery, and that's why I have 2 of those tiny baby ones. So if one dies, I have the other one. But on this one they introduced the second battery, and actually that's why I bought this, because it came in a special bonus pack. So besides the camera, I got a 32 gigabyte SD card, and those are expensive. I got a replacement battery, like a second battery. I got the grip, you know, that small telescopic grip. I like that. I had it before. You can use it as a tripod or as a grip. It weighs nothing. Very convenient. And so what else did I get? Yeah, grip, battery, SD card, and I think they gave me one of these, just one. I think before they would give you a bunch of these, but now you only get one. So I hope the audio is recording okay, but the reason I have two of those hero sessions, by the way, is okay, let's make it a bit tougher on the GoPro. We're gonna open the windows now. The reason I love those session 5s, and they were discontinued. All right, cool. This is good for the test. Now we have some ambient noise in the background, right? But one of the big reasons I like the session 5 is that until I switched to session 5, people were always complaining about the poor quality of audio on my channel. But session 5, I think it was the first camera that had more than one mic. Okay, it has 2 mics, I think, or even 3. But anyway, it has multiple mics, and it switches to those mics based on where the camera thinks the sound is coming from. And I found that in this position, where I have the camera in my head, and especially when I'm using this, right on the chest mount, and you see this, that's what I have to use, right, with the session 5. But this camera, I just use the screw, you know, very convenient. This Hero 8. And so yeah, that's why now then I decided, I heard the news that session 5 was discontinued. I went to Amazon and I was able to get the second one. But then, you know, the technology evolves all the time, right? You're always curious about other toys, and so I got this. Of course, 8 was out for a while, but I got it because I saw this bonus pack, so it was a good sale price, good sale, or as they say in Russia, akция, you know, sale. And the sound you hear, don't be scared, that's just Flowmaster Super 10 running off Challenger 392, 485 horsepower. Happens every day, at least in this household. And it's very quiet today because I just remembered today's July 1st. This is Canada Day. But they canceled all the celebrations. So I'm just going to my bank. I just need to use the ATM. I don't need the actual bank, but I'm pretty sure today everything is closed. But yeah, this is good. With open windows, I think this will give you guys a good idea, because all my previous videos where you see me driving like this POV, that was with the session 5. And then after this segment, so this will be like a video test, right? But after this, video and audio, after this I'll show you the session 5, just in case you forgot how it looks, and we'll compare. So yeah, this one has advantages and disadvantages. So again, the advantages are easy, it's easy to fasten it to like to anything, because it has its own little legs. It has the display in the front, which is helpful when you're filming yourself, and you can quickly check in the mirror to see if it's recording or not. Advantage number 3, the possibility to change batteries. Very important. Oh yeah, and the last thing I got with this camera was this new head mount. So head mount, grip, SD card, and spare battery. Now Now disadvantages are the weight is probably 3 times heavier than the Session. The flimsy construction of the battery door. As soon as I tried to unlock it, it came off, and then it took me 10 minutes to put it back on. And that's the compartment you need. That's where the battery goes, that's where the SD card goes, and that's where you connect the cable to charge it. And what's funny is that, yeah, they give you the cable, the USB cable, but they didn't give you the actual little, you know, charger. Actually, hold on. Well, we're still recording. Are we still recording? Yeah, see, that's so convenient. I look in the mirror, I see seconds counting, and I see the red light flashing. Yeah, this time I'm not gonna disable it. But okay, where's my... All right, so this is the Session 5, right? My favorite of all time GoPro. So again, this one has multiple, what's cool about this one, very low weight, inconspicuous. You can put it anywhere, but again, you have to use this cage every time you use it. Like on the head, you have to use this, right? And sometimes you don't have enough of them. Like I had 3 of them, of these cages. One of them broke, very poor quality from Amazon, even though they say, oh, it's like aluminum, you know. And then it was rattling in here. So like these cages, like third-party cages, I had to put a piece of tape in there, otherwise this thing was rattling, you know, especially if I use it. I have a grip I can put on the back of the truck. So as far as I'm concerned, the less hardware I have to use, the better, right? So, and then you see, like, of course I can hook up, for me to hook up this in here, again, I have to take off the cage, put it in, and sometimes, again, they don't, some of them, it's very hard to connect because they're not machined properly, you know. But anyway, so this one, yeah, great lightweight design, pretty much indestructible, great audio, right? Pretty much same like video quality, well, at least the specs. Recently I started experimenting with 60 frames a second. And you see this one has this tiny little screen, right? So, and you have one button here, one button here. So it's the same one button record. So you just click this button and it starts recording. But to access the settings, you click this, right? And then you see, and actually this is like a pretty high resolution to me, you know. But let me, if we do like, I can see this. I'm 58, right? So I can see this pretty clear. So you select with this button, but you access the menu with this, right? So let's say we put 1080 to 60 and wide, and then click, and that's yeah, actually maybe that's what we can do. Like after I do my thing at the bank, then I can put this on my head. Okay, let me just see. I have to press the bottom button. I just want to make sure that I delete all the files. Like this one, I know like the back of my hand. It's so easy to work with. But this one so far, I only know how to start recording. I couldn't even find the way to format it. To format the new card, I had to watch a video online. Okay, so you see, yeah, that's one extra step with the Session 5. We gotta do this. You see, it's very loose in here. That's why I had to put this tape in here, and even that, like 1/10 of a millimeter, it helped a little bit. But yeah, so these cages, See, it's rattling. But anyway, so once I'm done, we're gonna put this on my head and the same 1080p and see if you guys can spot the difference. So yeah, this is much lighter, probably much cheaper, same video specs, great audio. And disadvantages are you cannot replace the battery. That's why I have two of them. They last maybe hour and a half, 1 hour. No display, just a tiny little display. Sometimes it's hard to see if it's recording or not, especially if you disable the red light on the front, because it has like a couple of them. And what? So no battery, right? And oh, forgot to show you guys something. I'll show that later on the 8. You see this little door, right? All you do is just you pull this and this thing opens. You can probably take it out, but it's I never had that issue, right? And that's where you have your SD card, and that's where your cable connects. And I use that exclusively to transfer images. Before I would pop out the SD card, but then those little adapters, they stop working after a while. So I find that the best way to transfer images is just through a USB, and then I hook it up to my Mac. But that's the door. You see this door, right? And then you close it. It's like, I don't know, this design, it's like so much, you know, feels so steady, right? And then when you put it in, you have to make sure that this button is on the top, right? You put it in like this. Make sure you don't touch the lens, otherwise you can put some dirt on it, right? And then just close it, and that's it. I don't know, I still love this GoPro. That's why I waited so long for this 8 to get it, and I only got it pretty much because of the sale. All right, let's see, how do we stop recording? Now we are recording with the session, and you see here, that's how you can tell if it's recording. You see now I gotta put it back on. I disabled the light on the front just to blink in there. But yeah, these are, I really, you know, over time they get loose, right? I think this thing is a winner. That GoPro 8. Okay, I'm using the same mount. Everything is the same. 1080p 60. But this is the camera, right? So I was talking about these legs. See, pretty neat. But some guy was saying that not gonna last. But I see there's a mic in there at the bottom. But so all you need is that screw, right? So there's a mic in here. There's a mic in here. And so that's your on-off switch, and this is record. But the door, I don't want to even touch it. This little door here, like if you push it this way, like it just came out in my hand, and then it's very tough to put it back on, you know. And also another disadvantage is the screen. You know, when you look at the marketing materials, they show you the resolution of the screen is like 8K, like you can easily read everything, whereas in reality the resolution, the letters are like, I don't know, they're like one millimeter in height. Like I'm serious. Like for me it's much easier to read the text on that tiny little display here on this Session 5 than on that screen. I don't know. And the same with the manual, right? It came with a manual. The manual is, the letters are, I don't know, 1/100th of an inch in size. I could not see anything. So I had to watch some video on YouTube just to see how to format the card. And actually I still did not format it. I hope that video recorded fine. Oh, hold on. We forgot to put on the sport mode. Perfect. And so this will be a good comparison, right? The same conditions, driving the same car, same day, pretty much same hour, same time. Except of course with that one I drove on the freeway. Here we're just driving on the local road. miss this car. This is my favorite plaza, right? So we have a health food store, but now I don't go there because I don't eat veggies now. But then you have Royal Indian Buffet, okay now for me, but before I used to binge on that rice and bread. I don't do that. Oh, by the way, breaking news about the weight loss. I thought I lost 25 pounds. That's what it felt like. I finally got my little portable scale to work, and it shows whereas before I was like 180 pounds, so now it says 174.8. I think I was like 181 or something. Hold on, I know I was like 82 or 83 kilos. Yeah, so if I was 82, oh yeah, 82 was 1.8 180.4, yeah, and now I'm 174.8. I thought I lost 25 pounds, and I'm sorry about my declaration to that effect a few videos ago. I lost 5.6 pounds, but that's still pretty good actually for 2 weeks. I think what, like 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I started this diet when I was in Regina. But there you have it, guys. So that should give you a good idea about these two cameras, right? So we were comparing GoPro Session 5, an older model, but still a powerhouse, I think, for YouTubers like me that always on the go, and sometimes you want to be discreet about filming, right? And you know, it's so light, it will stay anywhere, and of course it has the same stabilization, whereas this is a new kid on the block, more expensive, bigger, heavier, but has a possibility to change batteries, has the built-in connector for the grip, and all these things, right? And hopefully has a better audio and video quality, but again, I have not seen the video yet, so you guys be the judge. So which one you think is better, Session 5 or GoPro 8? Write in comments below. Okay, I had to add something to this video because this is awful. Like, I'm watching the clips from that I just recorded, and now I went inside the menu, which I did not do before, and looks like this one does not have, and we're talking about Hero 8, it does not have spot metering anymore, whereas on the Session 5 you could choose regular metering or spot metering, and which is very helpful when you record from inside the vehicle. But what happens with this one, I can see, like you see, this is my video, right? Hold on. It has the display in the front, which is helpful when you're filming yourself, and you can basically, everything was fine in the beginning. Let me see. Yeah, you see here, everything is fine, but as soon as I touched and I tilted it down, like, look what happens. Those were recording with the GoPro. See, this is recording. The top of my head in there. So I figured, I'm just leaving my hotel, driving back to Cambridge. I figured this would be a good test, because that's what I use my other two GoPros mostly. Yeah, let's see when this light comes like super bright and overexposed. Like you see, you will see in a second. I'm gonna touch the camera, because you see now it shows like fine, right? It shows the top of the wheel, and you see the windshield, but look. And it'll be interesting to see how it records the audio when driving. But of course this is a car, right? So this is see, I tilted, and right after this okay, sport mode. Yeah, it starts overexposing the area that.
Flag. But one cool thing right away I like is that,
Yeah, see?
you know, quite often on the GoPro I have no idea if it's recording or not, and I have to take it off. And
so basically, I don't know if you guys, any of you know this, any solutions to this, but it looks like this camera really doesn't like this when there's such a big difference, because you know it has a wide lens, right? So it's catching the inside of the car, which is of course dark, right? And then it catches the bright outside, and that's where that spot metering was so useful. You know, I got used to it on the Hero Session 5, because I knew how to point it so that it does not get focused on the inside of the truck, let's say, when I'm recording a truck. But I'm pretty sure now it's going to be fine, because you see this all similar, right? So, but that's just ridiculous, you know, like, what is this? You cannot see anything. So I'm not even sure if I can use it for this purpose as a head cam inside my truck. But one thing I can tell right away by watching these videos, like I'm trying to make a video right now, right? But one thing I can see is that the audio is crispier and it's better. The audio on 8 is better, and then I went through the menu for the first time, where you're supposed to swipe from the top of the screen down, and only that opens the menu, and you can see preferences, and there's different profiles like activity, night, burst, standard, but I could not find any spot metering, so that's a problem for me, you know. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work fine on the chest mount when you're walking around or when you're recording yourself like this, but if you're inside the vehicle and there's, you know, big difference between light levels, it looks like this camera has an issue with that.
one of them lost, you know, I'm using those Session 5, right? And one of them over time, for some reason.
So, and there you have it. So that's the real life test, whereas Session 5 worked perfect, same as I expected, same as I'm used to. This new baby, this new kid on the block, screwed up a little bit. Thanks for watching.